Welcome to another movie plot and enjoy the memories. It opens with a human warrior of the Alliance taking up his shield and braving an 8-foot-tall charging orc. The film set decades earlier as an explanation to how the Great War begun, told by the orc chieftain Durotan of the Frostwolf clan as he's shown enjoying life with his pregnant wife Draka. They soon join Durotan's best friend and warchief Orgrim at a gathering of the strongest orc clans on their homeworld of Draenor. With it now a wasteland devoid of life, they wait to be led by the powerful warlock Gul'dan to the flourishing lands of Azeroth. He uses a dark form of magic called the Fel that requires death to perform, so he's brought all of their Draenei prisoners to be sacrificed in the pursuit of opening a portal. One begs the half-orc half-human Garona to free them, but she's also the warlock's prisoner. After burning her mother alive for giving birth to a cursed orc, Gul'dan decided to keep Garona on a chain as an oddity with her mom's tooth as her only possession. He intends to guide a war party into Azeroth and build another great gate on the other side, then sacrifice humans until he's strong enough to bring the entire horde through. The warlock drains the Draenei of their life force, giving himself enough power to open the gate, and with only a small window of opportunity the strongest warriors from the horde charge into Azeroth. During the crossing, Draka experiences pains and gives away her pregnancy on the other side, getting Durotan scolded by Gul'dan's puppet Blackhand for wasting a place on her. He doesn't seem to care though, and at the sight of Draka's stillborn baby, drains the life of an onlooking deer to resurrect Durotan's son and present him as a first generation to the horde. They lay waste to the land, enslaving every human they find to feed their warlord, while Durotan sits on a hill with his bestie and laments at the sight of the orcs repeating the same mistakes. Sometime later, the Alliance commander Anduin's meeting with the Dwarf King at his home of Ironforge. They supply the humans with weapons to fight the horde invasion and gift Anduin with a boomstick, but are suddenly interrupted by the untimely news of a garrison under attack. Anduin flies back to his kingdom of Stormwind and confronts a mage held prisoner for interfering with a corpse. Khadgar says he was determining if the cause of death was fel magic, which he proves at the showing of a dead soldier still containing the corruption. He joins Anduin to inform King Llane of the dangers therein while the commander speaks with his sister Queen Taria. Convinced that their enemies using dark magic, the king orders his commander to summon the Guardian, the strongest mage in Azeroth imbued with the power of an ancient mage council. Anduin and the rookie set out with a fast travel to the mage's tower in Karazhan, where Medivh's sculpting a giant clay golem out of boredom in his solitude. Anduin explains the situation to the Guardian while Khadgar waits downstairs in his library. A shadowy figure leads him to a bookcase when his mark of the Kirin Tor glows, a symbol of the neutral faction of mages which he was given to by his parents at a young age. Just then Medivh shows up and traps Khadgar against the wall, fearing of any other mage who might want to steal his powers, but the moment the boy mentions the fel magic, Medivh drops him, understanding the danger. He explains it to Anduin as a corrupted form of magic with no place in Azeroth, and joins them by teleporting straight into the King's Court to greet his old friend Llane. No one's seen the Guardian in 6 years, but he offers his assistance in leading the King's men into Elwyn Forest, to investigate an attack and whether it's the result of this evil magic himself. Expressing his distrust for Khadgar, the Guardian requests the young mage join them to keep a close watch on him, but mostly uses him for his ability to hold a staff. Confirming the use of fel magic at the site, they're suddenly ambushed by a group of orcs led by Blackhand, who throws horses like baseballs. He's impressed at Anduin's skills as a killer and wants to claim his death for his own, but the commander draws the boomstick and blows the orc's hand completely off. The kid prevents Durotan from reaching the Guardian by bubbling up with an impenetrable spell, while Medivh spends the entire skirmish casting finally to unleash his power, killing every fel-infused orc on the battlefield. Only Durotan and the other non-green orcs escape alive, while Anduin captures one and threatens his wolf mount to abandon his owner. The surviving orcs retreat to the camps with Durotan using a human horse to free Garona in passing. She sees the result of the carnage, but Khadgar's still there and pins Garona to a tree, until the others arrive and imprison her once again to be brought to Stormwind. The other orc prisoner gets angry at Garona speaking in a language that he can't understand, getting himself killed trying to shut her up. Once in the presence of the king, she reveals that the orcs' homeworld doesn't exist on their map of Azeroth, and that they keep their human prisoners alive only to feed the gate and bring the remaining horde. They imprison Garona beneath the castle, where she's asked by Medivh if she knows who showed Gul'dan the gate to Azeroth, but she only saw his appearance as a demon and never heard a name. When guards enter, the mage shapeshifts into a bird and flies away, but the queen's just come to give food and sheets to her prisoner as a common courtesy. To bring honor among the orcs, Garona threatens to kill Taria, but she stands unfazed as Anduin oversees the conversation with his boomstick in hand. At the orc camp, Blackhand's sentenced to death by Gul'dan for his failure to kill the humans, but Durotan intervenes in defiance against the warlock, who offers a challenge for leadership. Durotan wisely backs down knowing that he's too powerful to take and blames the death magic for their loss, while Gul'dan insists that the price has already been paid with slaves and that he's the only one who can control it. The next day, Durotan expresses to Orgrim his belief that the fell magic's what brought the decay of Draenor and is slowly doing the same thing to Azeroth. After witnessing the young mage's power on the battlefield, Durotan suggests they go to the humans to ask for help with defeating Gul'dan. Using Garona as a guide to locate the Orc camps, a small group leaves Stormwind and witnesses the Great Gate being constructed while humans are gathered around like Kindle for its activation. The moment they're alone, Durotan takes Khadgar hostage, but only to make a deal with the humans. He asks for Garona to have the Alliance meet him in secret to discuss their survival and the betrayal of Gul'dan. The scouting party return with this news to the king, who's debating among foreign rulers what needs to be done about the Orc invasion. Before he's able to speak with him, the commander's pulled away by the word that his son Callan's among the wounded returning. Under the king's orders, the army marches to Blackrock Mountain and the meeting with the Frostwolves, but not before the queen gives Garona the tiniest knife to defend herself with. Khadgar returns to his room to find the Guardian displeased with his attempts to solve the riddle of the Orcs' arrival. He burns all of the young mage's efforts and tells him to leave the fell alone, but misses a single page which Khadgar takes to Anduin as evidence that the Orcs didn't just open the portal, but were invited by someone powerful from Azeroth. The Frostwolves meet with the Alliance to negotiate a truce with Garona as their translator between Durotan and King Llane. If the humans draw Gul'dan's supporters away from him, the Frostwolf clan agree to kill the Warlock and end the corruption. They seem to agree on the terms, but the traitor Orgrim's betrayed them to Gul'dan and has Blackhand's orcs lying in wait to ambush them. During the battle, Garona saves the king's life with a dagger given to her by his wife, and Callan makes his father proud on the battlefield by bringing down Blackhand's wolf. Eventually the Guardian finishes powering up on the ridge above them, and releases a lightning barrier between the humans and orcs so that the Alliance may retreat from the ambush. Callan's caught outside with a handful of soldiers unable to be reached by Anduin, who shouts at Medivh and uses a fallen orc shield to try make it through, but to no avail. He's forced to watch as his son charges at the warchief, cutting down multiple orcs in his path, but is caught by Blackhand, who with his new metal hand, impales Callan and tosses his body at Anduin's feet. Afterwards, Durotan fights his way back to his camp to make sure his family's still alive, but is made to submit by the warchief for his role in the failed coup and kept in a cage. Orgrim returns home to find the Green Orcs finishing off the remaining Frostwolf clan, and realizing his mistake, he decides to help Draka escape with her child. He then frees Durotan, who's angry at him but calms down when hearing that he helped his wife and child, then leaves saying that he's going to show the other clans just how evil the Warlocks become. Unknown to them, Draka's pursued and forced to send her baby down a river in a basket. She leaps on a green orc and easily rips his throat out with her teeth, but unfortunately landed on his blade and bleeds out watching baby thrall taken by the river. Meanwhile, an expended Medivh's brought back to his home in Karzhan and placed into his pool to recover, when Khadgar notices the fell magic within the Guardian and leaves to seek help. He flies high above the lands of Northrend to the floating city of Dalaran to consult with the elder mages of the Kirin Tor. They take Khadgar to an ancient artifact, which opens itself and allows him to access the first Guardian and the shadowy figure from Medivh's library. Elodie says that the Guardian has given in to a demon, allowing himself to be corrupted by the fell, as we're shown the mage being helped into his mana pool once again after everyone else has left. This time the fell suddenly begins to seep out of Medivh, who apologizes to his assistant before absorbing his life force. He then returns to Stormwind to argue against Anduin's recommendation that they should destroy the Great Gate to prevent the Horde crossing over, and instead puts it in the king's head that they should attack the current warband head-on. After a burst of emotion for the Guardian's betrayal, Medivh convinces the king to take Anduin to the dungeons under the ploy that he just needs to calm down after the loss of his son. The Alliance head out into battle while their best fighters left in the dungeons to rot, but Khadgar returns and polymorphs the guard into a sheep to set him free. The two teleport to Karzhan to figure out a way to fight Medivh, but he's already let the demon take hold of him and attacks them both. Meanwhile, Durotan challenges Gul'dan to a muckra, which they fight to the death in front of the rest of the Horde. The Warlocks easily winning, albeit a broken spike, but the fight takes longer than he expected as Durotan wastes enough time for the Alliance to arrive. The Fellweavers are both required to open the portal together, so Gul'dan orders Blackhand to kill his opponent so that he can join the Guardian, but even he wouldn't dare to dishonor the Orcs' sacred tradition of muckra and refuses to follow. So the Warlock uses his magic to drain Durotan's life force and end it quickly, but the Frostwolf keeps coming back until the Warlock finally kills him, leaving Durotan a martyr to all other Orcs, who begin shouting "cheater" at the warchief. When even the Green Orcs begin to walk away, Gul'dan drains their life force as well and imbues it into his general, giving Blackhand a new claw, then orders the remaining clans by threat of death to charge the approaching Alliance. The king sees the body of a frostwolf and knows they're on their own, but orders the charge anyway into bloody combat. This time the king's the one who saves Garona on the battlefield, and Gul'dan, knowing he needs reinforcements, begins draining the prisoners to open the portal early. Orcs flood through from Draenor and join the fight, while Anduin and Khadgar are having a rough time with Medivh, who brings his clay construct to life with the use of fell magic. After knocking the young mage unconscious and golem-mounted commander through the side of the tower, Medivh returns to conjuring the portal, but Anduin continues to hang on to a now decapitated golem. The old friend then tries a different approach of getting through to the Guardian by playing at his heartstrings, but it fails to work and the demon consumes him completely, turning Medivh into an avatar of the Titan Sargeras. With some quick thinking, Khadgar teleports himself and what remains of the golem above Medivh to instantly crush it. The boy's now in the mana pool and absorbing all the fell magic, but is able to use what strength he has to shield Anduin before expelling the demon from Medivh. It manages to work and the now normal Guardian lays dying beneath the golem, apologizing for his betrayal, then with his last breath switches the portal from Draenor to Stormwind. The Alliance turn their attention to freeing the prisoners and sending them back home, but when the Guardian dies, so does the portal. With the few remaining humans surrounded and realizing they're not going to win, the king has Garona kill him before Blackhand does, so that she gains honor with the Horde and can use it to make peace with the Alliance in the future. The chieftains disappointed not to get the kill, but the other greenskins applaud Garona and carry the Slayer of Kings to Gul'dan, where he names her Orc and welcomes her into the Horde. From the skies, Anduin crashes into the crowd on his griffin but sees the king dead with Garona's dagger still in his neck. He tries to escape with the body, but Blackhand grabs the griffin and drags the two down, knocking the commander unconscious, then forces Anduin to muckra him with the king's sword to make up for the physical difference. The humans happy to finally get a shot at his son's killer and strikes Blackhand down with a single swing. In a fit of rage, Gul'dan orders the warband to kill Anduin, but he's earned the respect of the Horde, who honor their tradition and allow the winner of the duel to live. When Gul'dan attempts to do it himself, Garona makes him stand down with the reminder that he almost lost the Horde when he killed Durotan. Leaving with the king's body in tow, Anduin returns to Stormwind, never to see Garona again and assuming that she's a traitor, despite his now trusted advisor Khadgar knowing there must be another explanation. A funeral's held for Llane before the whole kingdom as his widow Taria eulogizes what a great man he was. With no heir to the throne, Khadgar presents his sword to Anduin as the new king of the Alliance, as he's met with approval of the crowd and shouts for Azeroth. The final scene shows Thrall still floating down the river, before being found by a human and growing into the greatest leader of the Orcs. And the movie ends.